Well, welcome all to the SnailTrail4x4 Podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how great air conditioning is in Toyotas. Don't shake your head over there. Judgy. Don't be all judgy, all right?
I had to use my AC in my Toyota this weekend.
See?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
I just lost
the
my voice.
assistant was very happy.
Good. Well, this might be the podcast for you then. Welcome everybody to the SnailTrail4x4 Podcast. My name's Tyler, and the mystery voice over there, you guys may not know who he is, but he is the B-list celebrity, Jimmy Jett. How you doing, man?
I got upgraded to B-list. Wow.
That's what I thought we've always had you at.
No, the assistant calls me a D-list.
Okay. That's funny.
Oh, yeah. Because
well,
I would
think more highly of you than your wife does.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Because like, I'm not a celebrity. I mean, I'm probably not even a D-list, but like, I'm no like, Ryan Reynolds or anything. First name that popped in my head.
Dak Shepard.
But she used to have me up there at like a C or a B list. And then one time we went wheeling and we saw Randy Slauson.
Oh,
and I'm like, and everybody around knew who he was.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, you got downgraded. Because whoever this guy is, everybody knows him and only a few people know you. And so maybe I was a C and she moved me down to a D or something like that. But yeah, that was funny. Like that one. So yeah, it's quite comical. She has random thoughts that are funny sometimes.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah. So you're a D-list celebrity compared to Randy Slauson.
Yeah.
So that's really what we figured out.
Who I consider as a B-list celebrity.
Okay. I think in the grand scheme of celebrities, I would put him as a B-list.
Yeah. I mean, he's an off-road
world.
He's an A-list off-road person.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But in the scheme of celebrities, he's not an A.
Yeah.
He's no movie star.
That's fair.
Yeah.
He is the 2-time king though.
3-time.
Well, not according to the banners at Trail Hero Gala one year.
Oh, shit.
I pointed that out to him and he was just like, the fuck? It's like, Randy, I thought you had 3 crowns, not 2.
And could argue that he has 4.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Anyways, Randy, if you're listening to the show, welcome, buddy.
Yeah. 2-time king. Glad to have you.
King.
B-list celebrity.
Was it Uncle Sausage? Father Sausage. That's what it is.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways, let's see here. What are we doing today? This is a Thursday episode.
Thursday
We're off
episode.
track here. We got some fun updates for you guys. I got to go wheeling and camping. Jimmy got to work on some vehicles.
I waded up to my knees in very cold water.
Nice. I did too. Not up to my knees, just my ankles.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was very cold water. You got to hide under a towel.
I did.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any other quick, just kind of teasing what the show's going to be about today?
Well, I mean, you got to play in some snow, and I
did go snow wheeling.
Got to scare my nephew about some really big bears that actually turned into dogs.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. That's today's show. What we got coming to you guys. We do have wrapping up this month the giveaway for May. So that is going to be 2 winners from the giveaway tier over at Irate 4x4. So that's under the Snail Trail 4x4 forum there under the watch, listen, discuss section of Irate 4x4. Go there. All your sign up options are there. You want to be in at least the giveaway tier to get set up for possibly winning each monthly giveaway.
Yeah.
And this month we have 2 winners for Onyx Elite memberships, about $99 each for an annual Elite membership. And it comes with the works, everything that Onyx has to offer, every option, every feature, all of it. It's pretty cool stuff. They just implemented a new feature I got an email about and I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. And I saved the email. No, I sent it to you.
Oh, did you?
I'm pretty sure I sent it to you and I was like, this is pretty freaking rad.
I don't remember.
I can't remember what it is now. I'm gonna have to go dig through my emails. Brian, go dig through my emails real quick and let me know what it was. Thanks. So yeah, they just implemented a new feature and I was like, that's going to be pretty awesome. So anyways, we'll get back to you guys on that one. We got 2 winners. huge shout out to Onyx for supporting the show. And because of them, we get to do some pretty cool stuff with you guys. And because of you guys supporting the show, we get to do cool stuff with vendors like Onyx and like 4-Wheel Underground. So I did get to use my suspension, and I got to use it on a very rocky trail. And I will say it worked amazing as always.
Nice.
So we'll get into that later in the show as well. Let's see, what else do we got?
Well, in lieu with the cool stuff that we've got going with Onyx, just to continue talking about them, we are going to be implementing the tokens back out, but they are only going to be available on Onyx, and the GPS coordinates and locations for these tokens are going to be all available there. Tyler and I are working through some of the logistics or back-end information and how to get those to certain people, certain users, and or how to just get everything put onto Onyx and allowed for us to share it.
Yep.
So another big shout out to Onyx and being able to work with them. I think this is going to be a really cool thing that's happening.
Yep. I did go and set up the folder in my Onyx account. So I don't know if that's actually the best move. I don't know if we should be under like my account or your account, or if we need to have like a SnailTrail4x4 account to manage under.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure. We might have to talk with them and be like, what's the best option for that now that I'm thinking about it? But anyways, we got that. Once we get them all set up and listed, then we'll let you guys know how that's working. It should be pretty nice and streamlined, especially if you're already using Onyx. So let's see. We have a giveaway for tires.
Yes, we do.
For what's our way to bribe you for reviews over on Apple Podcasts. We're coming up on 750. And so once we hit 750 reviews on Apple Podcasts, we're going to do a drawing of those 750 reviews. So we'll have one winner to win a full set of tires from Yokohama Tires. Big shout out to Yokohama for supporting the podcast for this long, to be able to get to this point of giving away a set of tires. I'm still kind of dumbfounded that we're getting to give away a full set of tires. But we are, and it's because of companies like Yokohama, and again, because of you guys, the listeners, supporting the show, everybody coming together to do some really cool stuff. So make sure you guys are leaving those reviews. If we get to 751 because all the procrastinators wait to put in reviews at the same time, Mr. 751 or Miss or Mrs., you're not going to be counted. You're going to be out. You're not going to have a chance at a set of tires. So make sure you go in and do it before all the procrastinators get there. So yeah. Absolutely. We'll let you guys know once we reach that point.
And it'll be soon.
It's going to be soon. I guarantee it. So, anything else?
We're finalizing the June giveaway right now. So we'll be announcing that probably next Thursday, along with MNGs and birthdays and everything else that happens this month. We'll inform you guys about all that stuff on Thursday's episode.
Yeah. I don't think I ever said it earlier in the month, but happy 6-year birthday, man.
Right? Yeah. Likewise. Yeah.
I was just thinking about it over the weekend. I was like, it's so, I don't know. I didn't think that we would be doing this podcast for this long. I thought we'd be like, 2 to 3 years into it. We get bored and just kind of like, let's go do other stuff now. So I think it's pretty rad that 6 years we've been running and doing this, meeting up every single week.
Pretty much.
To have some fun talking about off-roading and have some really fun interactions with the listeners and go to some really cool places across the country, really.
Well, at least the western front.
West side of the Mississippi, because that's obviously the best side of the Mississippi. So it's really cool. So happy 6 years.
Thank you. You too. Back at you. I think it was damn near when we interviewed Ian was actually the birthday date for us. So that I think we just kind of glossed over it because we were interviewing Ian Johnson, which was a fun time.
That was a fun interview.
But yeah, super excited for that. So congratulations to you as well for sticking with me for 6 years. So thank you. Also, and I'll say it, congratulations to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. They're still going, and they've been going 6 years too.
Bullshit. I'm just kidding.
Well, I don't know about this week. Who knows if they came out with an episode, but congrats to those guys too.
It's a big milestone. I mean, 5 years is a big milestone for a podcast. What was the stat? Most podcasts peter out after 17 episodes?
I thought it was 7.
7 episodes?
It was 7 or 17. Yeah. So we're coming up on that 600. This is 607.
Yeah.
So we're 600 past that.
Wow. That's so crazy to think about. But it's been a lot of fun. And, seriously, we would not be sitting down here hitting a record button and then doing all the editing, all the producing of everything, trying to come up with ideas for giveaways, reaching out and using our networking to create some cool opportunities for listeners out there. We wouldn't do it if you guys weren't listening. So thanks for sticking around with us for the 6 years too. It's been a lot of fun. We still have a lot of people write in, a lot of reviews that are like, I've been listening since the High Sierra days.
Yeah.
Which is, it's pretty crazy. So I don't know. It was just kind of one of those, I had a moment over this weekend out on the Rubicon Springs where I was just like, what have I done in my life to get me to this point of just chilling here on this sandbar?
Nice.
Watching this river with my 15-month-old and my wife. Like, and that was one of the things that popped in my head. So yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.
All right. So I think that about does it for intro stuff.
Sure. I think that's more than enough.
Cool. We got a lot to update you guys on. Jimmy and I have been busy, been up to some shenanigans. So grab a favorite drink. I need to refill water, and then we'll be right on back with what we've been up to. Hey guys, I love going out wheeling and I love playing in the outdoors, and one of the main tools I rely on for all of the activities is onX Off-Road. onX keeps me in the know, it keeps me on the trails, and it keeps me from getting lost so that I can make it back home to my family and friends. There's tons of tools and data available for outdoor activities on the app that helps you plan your next trip, and it helps keep the adventures rolling. Start your free trial over at onxmaps.com. Welcome back, ladies and germs, to today's what we've been up to. I got my water here. I'm happy. So
nice. Me too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's a little.
Yours is a little brown. Mine's a little. That's clear, right?
It's kind of yellowish.
It's a little yellowish. Yeah, I guess. So let's see here. While we were on break, Brian got back to us.
Okay.
With the really cool new feature from onX.
Yeah. What is it?
It is a dispersed camping layer.
Oh.
So I'll read you what the email said went out. It says, discover a map full of possibilities. We are wild about our brand new dispersed camping layer, and we know you will be. Find your perfect and legal off-grid campsite in the only app with verified U.S. Forest Service data integrated right into the map. No more tracking down individual ranger stations and deciphering clunky documents to figure out where you're allowed to camp. Now you can simply activate the dispersed camping layer to highlight motorized trails with legal free camping in national forests.
Wow. I like it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I've always said that onX is a really awesome piece of software for exploration, right? If you want to go out and kind of explore areas, they have awesome satellite imagery that is within 2 weeks. So you can see kind of what the actual on the ground terrain is, right? And you can see where trails are. You could see if there's like a little pond or a lake there kind of thing, or a clearing, or if there's shade, whatever it is, if there's tree cover there. And now they have a layer that highlights where it's legal to have dispersed camping at.
Yeah. So now you can combine these two forces.
Yeah.
You can see where it's legal to camp and then go to the 3D mapping thing and get a view of what it looks like in that area and decide if it's a good camp spot for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So another really awesome feature that they just implemented. I think this email went out. When was it? Monday, May 19th.
Wow.
So within a couple weeks here. Okay. So pretty cool stuff that they're doing. Yeah.
onX always pushing forward.
Yeah. I like it.
Change your motto.
So anyways, all right. So that was the onX update. Let's see. What else do we got going on? We had a pretty busy weekend.
We did. Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day to all you family people out there that maybe had somebody in the military, and we thank them for their service.
Yep. Yeah. Hopefully, it is definitely a time to reflect back on the freedoms that we have in this country. And the big reason why we have freedoms is because people gave their lives so that we do get to enjoy outdoor recreation like we do. We do get the time away from work. We get vacation time. We get time with our families because of people that have given their lives to make sure that we continue as the country we are. So it's a great way to kind of honor and remember is doing those things that those people gave their lives for. So
doing things that they would have enjoyed. So we could continue to do them. And even though they're not around.
So that was huge. So a lot of people do like to go camping for Memorial Day. I think it's one of those really cool freedoms that we have, outdoor recreation. And so one that definitely we enjoy a lot here on the podcast. So both of us went out and did a little bit different styles of camping each, but outdoor recreation nonetheless. So what were you up to? I know you were up near Tahoe, right?
I was. Yeah, somewhat. Pretty much every Memorial Day, my parents rent a dwelling somewhere.
Okay.
And so this year,
the Shire.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Middle Earth somewhere. Last year we went to Bodega Bay and we had a great time, and it was a little cold and a little drizzly and not very warm, but it's also Memorial Day. So this year they rented a cabin up near Donner Lake.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We were like on the other side of the road from Donner Lake.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's not a lot of like fantastic water access on that lake. So we couldn't just like walk across the road to get to the lake. So it wasn't that easy, but it was still a fun spot. It was a great location right there on the lake, not terribly far from the house. It was just a little over an hour from my house to the cabin. And my parents rented this spot. My family went, the assistant and mini assistant, and then my brother and his family went. So his wife and my nephew.
Nice.
And so the nephew and my daughter are like within 6 months of each other. They get along great. They have like the same energy level and they can compete mentally and like, I don't know, not necessarily physically, but like energy wise, they could compete with each other. So it's fun. They get along great. They probably spent half of the time that we were there in the hot tub, just kicking it, which was fine since nobody drowned, it all worked out. But yeah. So we were up in Donner this last weekend. We drove up on Friday after the assistant got done teaching. And then and then my parents picked up the mini assistant and took her from school like immediately. So we were a little over an hour or 2 hours behind where my parents were. My younger brother, my only brother, I texted the group when we were leaving and he was like, "Oh, we're like 5 minutes up the road from you." Oh, nice. I was like, I'm going to catch him.
Okay.
I didn't catch him. But it's kind of funny how, it's like 5 minutes. It does not that a long. You don't get that far driving in 5 minutes, but when everybody's moving, 5 minutes is quite a big difference in time because he's continuously still ahead of me. So I got to catch that up. I was not trying, but I was sort of trying. It was one of the like, let's see if I catch him, but I'm not going to be stupid. With all this traffic and everybody driving around and having to go through, Officer Lloyd's territory. That jerk's going to pull me over. And so they were getting out of the car when I pulled up at the cabin. So I was just about there. Just behind them. Yeah. So it was good though. We got up there, we hung out the first night, Friday night, just kicked it at the cabin. The next day we went to the lake and we went to the west side of the lake, and the west side has a really nice beach, big sand beach, big playground, just a boat rentals, everything you could want at like a little beach area. $15 a person to go in.
To the beach?
To the beach.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Is it a state run or is it like an HOA?
I think
private
it's a
property
private thing. Yeah. And there was 8 of us.
Wow.
And we're like, no.
That's like $350.
Kind of.
I'm just kidding. I don't know how much is off the top of my head. 15 times 8,
15 times 10 is 150.
40, so 120?
So, yeah, 120 or so.
Yep.
So we're like, no, we're not going to pay that. So we started searching for another beach. We found one on the opposite end. So the east side of the lake. And we go there and it's a state-run beach.
Okay.
We're like, okay, so how much does it cost? Oh, $10 a car.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Fine, perfect. So
Dump
$20
everybody into one car.
Yeah. Well, there was 8 of us.
Yeah.
So 2 cars, $20. We went into the beach. We drove all the way down. I think it was called China Cove is where we went. And it was great. A lot of picnic tables, some barbecue pits, big sandy beach. We like put a bunch of blankets out in an area that was shaded and sunny. So you can kind of rotate if you wanted, if it was getting too hot. And we got to play in the water a little bit, but the water was cold.
Yeah. Donner Lake is not a warm lake.
It was. I looked it up. I think they said it was 50 degrees.
That's not too bad.
It's not too bad. I got into like where I got my pants wet, my shorts, my swim trunks wet. And the mini assistant dunked herself under the water. And it was funny because she was like yelling at mom, like get ready to take a photo. And the assistant went to take a video and the mini assistant like plugged her nose and dunked herself. And right at that moment, my nephew walked in front of the camera and she's like, did you get it? And the assistant, my wife's like, no.
Got to do it again.
She's like, what? And I'm like, nephew walked right in front of the camera and I'm like, oh man. But it was perfect. Yeah. So she dunked herself again, got all wet and screamed because it's cold. And I'm like, you're a wimp. And
did you tell her that you jumped into the Antarctic Ocean?
Yeah, I did.
At 33 degrees?
It was, 32.9 or whatever. But I talked about that because it was 70-ish up there. Like it was
outside,
about 70 degrees outdoor temperature and the water was 50. Right?
Okay. 20 degree difference?
Yeah. When I jumped into the Antarctic water, it was snowing outside.
Okay.
Right. So it was like 2 degree difference between the outside temperature and the water.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel that bad. Like it didn't it's like I'm cold outside, I'm cold inside. There's not a whole lot of difference here.
Yeah.
Where this one is like I'm warm and hot in the sun and feel comfortable. And then I'm stepping into this frigid water and it's a shock of the difference of temperature.
Okay. That's fair.
So that was like, I'm having a hard time getting in this water just because it's 20 degrees different than what I'm outside the water. So it was fun though. We had a great time. We hung out there all day. We brought food and some beverages and just chilled. And I think we went back to the cabin like once the wind started picking up, something like 3 or 4, and we went back. And then it was my brother's night to make dinner, and they made like a rice stir fry thing. And we hung out the rest of the night. We played some board games. We played Yahtzee. We played Settlers of Catan. We played Apples to Apples. My mother brought a puzzle, so there was a lot of puzzle playing. Yeah, that was the night. I think the parents and the kids went to bed at like 10, and then the rest of us stayed up until like midnight.
The middle generation?
Yeah, the middle generation stayed up till midnight or so.
Okay.
And then the next day, we went on a hike, but my brother had to work, so he couldn't leave or go on the hike. So we hung out with him until like noon, and then he had to leave. And then, but before he left, and while we we're just sort of hanging out because it was a lazy morning, I started editing Monday's podcast with Ben from Blue Ribbon Coalition, and I was like, this is weird. So I like uploaded everything, and I'm like, I don't have the right files. And I was looking at it, and I like searched all the things I brought. I searched the places online that I uploaded things to, and I'm like, I don't have the intro for our podcast. Like that's like, I don't know why I don't have it.
What'd you do with it?
I don't know. So I was like, well,
I don't think we recorded one.
I don't think we did. Anyways, I was like, hey bro, since you're going home, I need some information off of my computer. So when you get off work, can you go to my house and log into the computer and upload a file for me? Like, yeah, no problem. So he left to go to work. We went on a hike. I was like 4 miles or something like that. It was like 2 miles, gradual uphill to a picnic bench that overlooked Donner Lake. Really, It was a nice area. And then we hiked the 2 miles back, and then we went back to the cabin, and we had like a dinner because it was sort of like we were like we should have brought food on the hike, but we didn't. And then when we got back, it was like 3 or 4. And we're like, okay, well, it's a little late for lunch and kind of early for dinner, but let's just make a big dinner. And if you want to eat again later, you can. So it was our night to cook, and we made sort of burrito bowls.
Okay.
Sort of thing with, we had some leftover chicken from the first night. We had tofu and and some potatoes as sort of a main dish, because my wife's vegetarian and my brother's wife is gluten-free.
Okay.
So it's like, what the hell do you make? What's left?
Yeah.
So having courses or meals that are sort of pick and choose, like you can add your own toppings is the best thing we've found.
Yeah.
And we had lettuce and hot sauces and salsas and all different types of stuff. And then, so you throw some chips down, some lettuce down, add whatever toppings you want. And that was our burrito bowls.
Yeah.
And so after dinner, we were just hanging out and the kids wanted ice cream. So we're like, oh, let's go to Truckee.
Okay.
And so we went into Truckee and walked around, did some shopping, and then got some ice cream and came back. And I forgot to say also in the morning, I went to, I think it's Kings Beach, and I met up with Verde.
Oh, nice.
From, Jason from Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. If you listen to their episode about the safety clinic, you would hear that they went wine tasting and they went to this great spot called De Rose. And I said, Jason, buy me a case of wine. I'm not making it down to the safety clinic this year, but you can bring me wine.
Yeah. And
he said, okay. So he bought a case of wine for me, took it up to his house. And then I'm like, are you going to hold this ransom from me? Like, am I going to have to drive to Nevada to get some wine? And he's like, maybe. And then I was like, I'm going to Donner this upcoming weekend. He's like, oh, well, maybe we can figure that out. And then it turns out that he was going to go out on his golf cart on one of those days. And he was driving towards me. And I was like, all right, I'll come out there and I'll meet you. So we met up on, Sunday morning, and I picked up the case of wine from him.
Nice.
So thanks, Jason, for grabbing the wine, and thanks for the delivery. And you should have gotten paid by now. So, because I sent it the other day.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah. So after dinner, we went into Truckee, did some shopping, got some ice cream, came back and hung out for a little bit. And then by that time, my brother got back to me and he's like, I'm at your house. I'm like, okay, here's how you break in. Here's what the code to the computer. Here's where the file should be. Like, hey, listen to this file number. And he's like, okay. And then he's like playing it. And I'm like, yeah, that's not the one. Like, what about this file? You know, and he plays it. And I'm like, yeah, that's not the one either. I'm like, okay. I don't know where it is. Open the laptop, turn on the laptop, go to this other program that we back up everything on. I'm like, go find this number 606. And he's like, yeah, there isn't one. I'm like, what about whatever the recording date was? No, there's nothing. There's only one thing or something like that saved. I'm like, search for blue ribbon. Oh yeah, here's a blue ribbon and updates. I'm like, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so send me the blue ribbon file, upload it to, Dropbox, and I'll get it. Mm-hmm. And he did all that. Said, cool, got it. I can hear, like, it's playing. Everything's good. Thanks for doing that. Shut it down, lock it up, and have a good night. Said, all right, cool. So then I go to edit it. It's the wrong file.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'm like, damn it. It's from like the previous time that we talked to Ben. Yeah. I'm like, man, I need to clean this folder out. Yeah. And so I'm like, shit, well, we don't have an intro and I want to get this podcast out. And so I don't have a mic. I don't have anything. I have a laptop with a webcam. I was like, how can I improve this? And so I don't know if you saw my Instagram post, but I threw a beach towel over my head to try to dampen the echoing in the room and the horribleness of a laptop microphone.
Yeah.
And recorded the intro and went from there. So got everything done, posted it, and went to bed. And actually hung out a little bit and talked with my sister-in-law and the wifey, and then went to bed. Yeah. And then next day, woke up, just had a lazy morning, lazy breakfast, cleaned the house a little bit, did all the things that were required from the Airbnb and just, stripped the beds, took the garbages out, just basic stuff. Mm-hmm. And started driving home and I was like, oh, I should check the podcast. And I was like, it's not playing. That's weird. And I was like, honey, pull the podcast up. She does. And so I tried to play it on Podcast Addict. And then I tried to play it off the website. And she tried to play it on YouTube Music. And I was like, okay, something's not right. Like it's not a cell reception issue right now. It's like something's error. So if you tried to listen to the podcast early and it didn't play, sorry about that. On the way home, I picked up a hitch receiver.
Okay.
Because the Tacoma is taller than the hitch to make the trailer level. The Tacoma's too tall. So I bought a used drop hitch, which is like 2 inches or 3 inches dropped. So not a lot, but just enough to make it a little bit more level. And it was on Facebook Marketplace for like $15. So I'm like, and it still has like the stickers on it.
Nice.
So it's like fairly new. Yeah. So that worked out. And then when I got home, I started figuring out what was up with the podcast. So yeah. So if you did try to listen to the podcast on Monday morning and it didn't work, I apologize. Apparently, after doing a bit of digging and contacting a company, we ran out of our monthly allotted data that we can upload.
We uploaded too many podcasts last month.
This month. And it blocked us from uploading more data. So they gave us extra space this month, and so we should be good for the rest of the month. And we're going to figure out a way to not jeopardize the audio quality, but try to reduce the file sizes. Yeah. So that we can still not have to pay for more data. Is mainly what it comes down to. Yeah.
We're kind of like we're just underneath the next break point for the next tier up. And the next tier up is more money than what we really need and what we want to spend. Yeah. And so,
I mean, we've been using this plan for probably a year now. Yeah. And this is the first time we've hit it. Yeah. So we're right on that cusp. We're heavy on this plan, but we'll be so light on the next plan. It doesn't warrant us really moving it up. Yeah. So I don't know if we can do this like maybe an a la carte, like, yeah, if we need it, give it to us. But most of the time, let's stay below it or something. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll dig into it. But we thought that was kind of fascinating. That holy crap, we hit the data limit. Yeah, which is something we didn't think was going to happen. We thought we were pretty safe. But anyways,
they gave us more space, and then the podcast uploaded, and everything worked fine. Nice. So that worked out. Yeah. Cool. So if you haven't listened to the Ben Blue Ribbon Coalition episode yet, I highly suggest you go and do it because it's available now and it's working. And there was a ton of information in there and some really cool stuff about like sort of a trail advocacy thing that Blue Ribbon is doing that I want to be a part of.
I do have an update from that episode. Okay. We were talking about how... I forget what the name of the act was, but it was the one in affecting Nevada and Utah about the public lands being sold off. Yes. And we talked about it and we learned that at least in Utah, it seemed like all the sales of the public lands in Utah were being sold to other public entities to be used for public resources. Okay. Right? So like the reservoir, what was the other thing? There's 3 or 4 examples in Utah. And then the one in Vegas, Nevada that he was able to investigate was some landlocked parcels in the middle of downtown Vegas or something. That's like, we're not going to use that for public recreation at all. So yeah, let's sell that, get rid of it kind of thing. So that whole thing was like in this act in Congress of being able to do one fell swoop of all these public lands things. Okay. Which is doable. It's using the congressional approach to be able to do something like that, right? Otherwise, if you didn't do it this way, it would just get pushed through in the, whatever you called it, the hot action alerts, hot alerts, hot topic alerts, whatever it was. That just get pushed through automatically anyways, but they have to do it one thing at a time rather than this way. They were just going to be like, hey, we got a bunch of these public land things, and let's just take them all through. There's a lot of people up in arms about it. Once it was kind of explained that it doesn't seem like any of this is really being sold for like private organization uses, I guess, anything to take away owners. Access to the lands. Right. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. It sounds like it's being used for good reason, and it's being sold to other public agencies to make more offer or public recreation access.
Right.
So, anyways, that whole bill got shut down.
Oh, really?
Last week. It got shut down like the day after we released the episode, I think. It was something like
dang.
that. Or the day before, because it came. We
recorded
on Tuesday. I think he called me on Thursday.
Oh, interesting.
And was like, hey, just want to let you know all that got shut down. So if you want to pull it all out of the podcast, we can. I was like, no, I think it's important that people know what's going on in the backgrounds of these things and knows what the true story behind this particular bill was.
Wow.
So I didn't tell you or give you a heads up or anything, because I was like, we'll just put it in. We'll talk about it on Thursday as kind of a correction to the show. But the whole thing got shut down, which is fine. That's what Congress is meant to do, right? This stuff goes through legislation to be able to vote on it. And if there's enough public pressure that the public doesn't want it to happen, then it gets shut down. Right. That's congressional review.
Correct.
And so, yeah. Anyways, that whole thing has been shut down now. So that was a big part of, I won't say a big part of, but it was a decent topic that we talked about with Ben.
Yeah. Part of that episode. Yeah, for sure. Interesting. Yeah. It just shows how these things are fluid to some extent, you know, and what's kind of funny is because I think I named that episode like America's moving too slowly. Oh, and now here we are like the next week talking about updates.
Yeah. Right.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was more or less my trip. I mean, it was a great time. I love this sort of family tradition that I have with my parents renting a location, a house somewhere that we can all go to as a family and, you know, just have fun as a family being together. I did find it was kind of funny because the kids wanted to play the Switch for a while.
Okay.
I had work to do. And my brother and my dad would yell at any of us if we got on some sort of technology when the entire family's around.
Yeah.
But then my dad would leave the room and go into his bedroom and read Reddit. And I like walked back there to go do something. Yeah. Like, hey, where are you? And he's like, I'm just back here. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like sitting at his computer away, reading Reddit. And I'm like, you're mad at me for doing work that I have to get done that I get paid for. And you leave all of us to go sit on a computer to read Reddit. Like, I don't see that as equal things. So thanks, Dad.
You know, that's the benefit of being a dad though.
Yeah.
You get to hold, double, what is that? Double entendre? Double
something like that.
Whatever that's called.
Yeah.
So anyways. Yeah.
And my brother he doesn't like technology anyway, but I'm like, just, why don't you let us do what we want to do? We're all at it. Like, do we have to? So then I started yelling at the people for that playing or working on the puzzle because they weren't including or they were excluding everybody else that was sitting on the couches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, but what about those the puzzle players? They're not talking to all of us sitting over here on the couch. They're just doing their own thing.
Yeah, true. That's very true.
Yeah. It didn't win, but it was fun.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it was a fun argument for a short time. All right. Well, that was my weekend. That was my Memorial Day weekend. I want to hear about yours because your plans sound very different from what we had talked about the plans being.
Yeah. I had kind of a flurry of a few days leading up to the weekend.
Okay.
So when I got back from Moab, I took the 4Runner and dropped it off with Dave Pfeiffer.
Yes. To
get the transfer cases resealed, to get the shifters fixed so that I wasn't leaking gear oil anymore over everything.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So, he got it all fixed, got it all put back up. It works very well.
Did he build you a new shroud?
No, we left it there. I told him, he said, let me build you a new shroud. I was like, no, this works fine. And it looks great. Then he goes, it's such a piece of shit that I just threw together in like half an hour. And I was like, I don't care. It works great. And I've showed people and everybody's like, that's a really nice shroud. So it works great. Stay away from my shroud, Dave.
Nice.
So, anyways, he resealed the transfer cases, fixed my shifters, and added, sound foam, It's like aircraft grade sound foam, which is also extra heat foam.
Oh, nice.
In the holes for the transmission tunnel.
Oh,
where the shifters come up. So less heat comes into the cab, less sound comes into the cab now from the drivetrain, which is awesome. It's great. I took it home, and as I was going home, when I made a left-hand turn, or if I hit a speed bump, I would hear this like something was contacting something rotating quickly.
Okay.
And I've had this happen before. When I was, when I first got the 3.4 back, the 3.4 swap, my double cardan was contacting that cross member under there, right?
I remember.
And it made that same noise.
Okay. That's exactly what I was thinking it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's the U joint, the rear
CV. The rear output of your T
output
case.
of the T case. And that U joint there is contacting the cross member.
Right. So
I'm like, I haven't had that happen since I clearanced the cross member.
Right.
And now that everything is linked and the skid plate for my transmission, for the T cases and everything holds the drivetrain there. It's bolted in very differently now than it was previously. So there's no way it's moving at all.
Okay.
And I'm like, there shouldn't be any reason for that to be contacting that cross member, but that's the only thing it could be. So I get home and I crawl under the rig, and I'm under there for about 20 to 25 minutes. I cannot for the life of me figure out what the hell is contacting. I've got like 1 inch to 1.5 inch clearance between the double cardan and the rear output and the cross member.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm like, there's no way the drivetrain is moving 1.5 inches. That's a lot for it to be moving, especially on a link suspension with it all bolted the way it is.
Right. Or your bushings are bad.
There's no bushings.
Oh, there's the brace for the T cases doesn't have any bushings in it.
Does, but it's polyurethane. It's not rubber. So I don't know. I'm like, there's no way that's moving 1 inch, 1.5 inches. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm kind of like putting my hand up around. I can't, I'm like trying to feel for protrusions. Can't find anything protruding. I'm like, the fuck is going on? Yeah. So I take it for another drive around the block. Every left-hand turn, speed bumps. And it gets worse the harder you hit, right? The more I lean into a turn, the faster I take a turn, it gets worse and harder. Like,
so your tires hitting your links?
No, definitely not a tire. It's a metal on metal.
Metal on metal.
And it's coming right underneath my center console where my elbow is, and the seat belts are bolted in, right? So it's right there. That's where the vibrations are originating from. So I'm like, it has to be something in my T cases.
Yeah.
But like, why would something inside the T case
matter whenever you
turn? on suspension movement? Because it's the body rolling and suspension movement. I'm like, I couldn't figure it out. So finally I text Dave. I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on. It didn't make this before. Can you think of anything? And he goes, no. I'm like, I'm taking this up to the Rubicon. It's going to happen a lot more on the trail. I was like, is there any way we can take a look at this? And it was Thursday morning. Okay. And he goes, bring it on by. We'll take a look at it. I was like, okay. So I drive up to Dave's real quick, and he's kind of laying under there. He goes, you've got plenty of clearance under here. It shouldn't be moving around this much to hit this cross member. I don't understand what it could be hitting. Let's go for a ride.
Yeah.
So he jumps in, and just backing out of his driveway, it's contacting. Dun, 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 dun. And it gets faster with faster wheel speed.
Okay.
And slower with slower tire speed and wheel speed.
Yeah.
So that means it's from the transfer case output backwards, right?
Yeah.
So it's nothing forwards of that. So we get on the street, start driving forward, and it's happening full time now. And I'm like, this was not happening on the way over here. Now I'm like, now we have to get this solved. I can't drive this back.
Right.
This way.
Yeah. You want to drive me home?
Yeah, right. So we kind of just go around the block real quick. And then as we're pulling into his driveway, he goes, all right, what I want you to do as you're pulling into the driveway is just put in the clutch and coast to a stop in my driveway and then just sit there. Don't put it in gear. Keep it in neutral. Don't touch the brakes. Just turn off the engine and let me climb under and look around. I was like, okay. So he's under there maybe 2 to 3 minutes. All of a sudden he goes, ha, there it is. And I'm like, the hell did you find? I'm like, I want to see what'd you find? So I go and crawl under there, and there's this bolt sticking out from a piece of sheet metal that's up right above my transfer case output. And I'm thinking this bolt is coming from inside the cab.
Okay.
So we're like, okay, we found this bolt. It's like bent over sideways from contacting the T-case output and the U-joint there. So we're like, all right, it's coming from in the cab. Let's go in the cab, take apart the center console and find this bolt.
See what it is. Yeah.
No bolt in the cab.
What?
No bolt in the cab. So we're like,
between the cab and the...
It's just in this little piece of sheet metal.
What?
And
What's
so
it do?
The only thing I could think of is that there was something there that was held there, whatever that bolt was holding something there to that sheet metal before the dual cases got put in. And when the dual cases got put in, whatever was holding right there got taken out. Yeah. But this bolt and little piece of sheet metal stayed up there. And it just happened to never contact my U-joint before.
I don't think that those rigs ever had a carrier bearing.
Nope. No, they're too short for carrier bearings.
Huh. I wonder what was there.
I don't know. So he took a big pry bar and pried the floorboard up so that he could get access to the bolt. Took another big pry bar and hit it really hard with a hammer to try and cut the bolt using the pry bar.
Okay.
Wasn't working. So he went sharpen the pry bar and brought it back, started hitting it again. He goes, nope, that's at least a grade 8 bolt.
Oh, wow.
And so we're kind of looking at it and it's tapered on the end of it. And I'm like, this is an OEM Toyota bolt. This is an M8 by 125, 10 millimeter head.
Yeah.
Tapered grade 8 Toyota bolt. What the hell was holding? It holding? I don't know. We can't figure. So anyways, we're like, well, it's not holding anything now. No. So we dropped the drive shaft and just cut disc it off.
Cut disc. Yeah.
And then once we did that, all better.
Oh, wow.
But it was just right up there, just right at where you can't see it because of the drive shaft and the output and everything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder what was there.
I have no clue.
Or, yeah, what's supposed to be there.
You're right. So anyways, that was fun. A fun
to go back through our swappy swap videos.
Yeah.
And see if it shows it.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So anyways, that was one thing that happened. And another thing that happened was my air conditioning.
Yes.
So I took it down and they said that the winch and stuff in the front had kind of rubbed a hole in my condenser.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's kind of weird. I mean, things move and they rattle around, and there's wires and stuff back there. So maybe that did it. But I was like, my winch is very firmly bolted to my bumper and my bumper is very firmly welded to a very welded frame.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there shouldn't be moving around enough to rub a condenser. And I know that there's a lot of space there between the condenser and the grill and then the winch.
And you just put new body mounts on.
I just put both new body mounts on. So I'm like, I don't. So then they kind of, I went to pick up the rig and they're like, it was not your winch. It was your power steering cooler. That was not secured in. It was just sitting there in my front, in front of the condenser. It's just free floating in there.
Wow.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know why. I've never checked to see if that was secured to the radiator supports or anything.
Why would you?
I don't know. So anyways, power steering cooler is what rubbed a hole in my condenser.
So is the power steering cooler have a hole in it too? Nope.
They did a check on that and that was all good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got and then my AC compressor, the case seal was bad. It was leaking out of the case seal on the compressor as well. And then my evaporator box was leaking too. So I got a new condenser, new AC compressor, and a new evaporator.
Okay. Got an all new system.
And a new dryer. So pretty much a whole new air conditioning system.
Is it cold?
Oh, it works amazing.
I hope so.
Man, you turn on the engine and it immediately blows cold air. Like there's no cool down period of it. It just immediately comes out cold. And I was like, this is nice.
Yeah.
So I picked it up from the AC place on Wednesday afternoon, brought it home. And when I got home and started kind of like looking over the rig, make sure it's ready for Rubicon, I noticed I had cool refrigerant, like the green dye refrigerant oil leaking down my frame.
Oh,
on the passenger side. That's where the evaporator drains down onto the frame rail to then just go out, right? It should be just water evaporation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that should only be water coming out of there.
Yeah.
I hope it's just residual from them working on it or from when they exhausted the system when they first got it.
Okay.
We're going through the testing process, right?
Yeah.
Testing, fill it, exhaust it, pressurize it, exhaust it. So I'm not thinking too much of it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Because it's working. It's working great. So we go up to the trail. We leave Friday morning and get up to Tahoma.
I thought you were going to Loon.
I was going to Loon. I got a phone call at 9 p.m. Thursday night from our buddy that we were supposed to go camping with.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, we're not going to be able to go.
What?
9 p.m. the night before. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's fine. We're all set. We're all packed, ready to go. We're going no matter what.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of sucks that you guys aren't going. I was looking forward to spend some time with you guys, but you know, if you can't go, you can't go.
Wow.
Yeah. Too bad.
Okay. So I guess you didn't get the tree spot then.
No. So our thought was, do we go in and try and get the spot at Gatekeeper, which is a small camping spot, 2 vehicles max, really, to comfortably fit. And I was like, do we try and get that one? We're going to be leaving Sacramento 8:30, 9 a.m., maybe 9:30 a.m., somewhere around there. I was like, that means we're going to get up there probably around 2 to 3 p.m. Friday. That's kind of late to try and get that spot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, and if we don't get it, then we got to go hunting for a new spot to get into.
Yeah.
And the longer it takes to hunt for a new spot, the less options you end up getting because it's Memorial Day weekend. People are going out camping with their families.
Yep.
So I'm like, Or Rubicon Springs opening weekend is Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, what if we go up and go chill at the Springs? Let's just go up to Tahoe, drop down through Tahoma, down Cadillac, and hang out at the Springs all weekend.
That would be nice.
I love the Springs. She enjoys the Springs.
Okay.
The closer of a camping spot we can get to the river, she enjoys it.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's not going to be, and it's easier to find camping spots not right on the trail. So we don't have to worry about the kid running into the trail with vehicles around. And it might be a little quieter because at the spot at Gatekeeper, if there's a lot of people coming in the trail, it can be noisy. And if there's people coming in at midnight, that's going to be no bueno.
Yep.
So I'm like, let's go to the Springs.
Yeah. Is it open?
Yeah, it's always open. I mean, you can always get in there.
Oh, okay. Let me rephrase that. Can you get in there?
Gotcha. Yeah. That's a good question. So,
I would assume that there would be snow up there still.
See, you're better at thinking about things ahead of time than me.
Okay. I like where this is going.
So I'm glad you asked that question, Jimmy. On the way up, I love stopping at Sunny's Barbecue. Up or down, going through South Lake Tahoe. If it's any time close to any sort of meal, I'm stopping at Sunny's Barbecue. I love that place.
Yeah.
So we had lunch at Sunny's Barbecue. And as we're leaving and we start heading up around Tahoe, the west side of Tahoe to Tahoma, I start thinking, shit, it's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
It's, we're not even at the end of May yet.
No.
There's probably snow up on that end of the trail still.
Yeah. I hadn't heard of anybody getting through the trail at all this year.
Nope.
All the way through until I think it was Sunday.
Yeah.
Was the first time I saw somebody that posted that I noticed that said they got all the way through.
That was my concern because usually you start seeing people. It's kind of like a race, right?
Yeah.
Once the snow starts melting, who can get into the Springs first, right? It's like who can get to Uncle Tom's first during a snowstorm, right? So I start thinking, I'm like, I don't think I've seen anybody say that yet either, and I'm like, shit, we are way away from Loon Lake if we need to turn around and go find a camping spot.
Got another hour. Yeah.
Yeah. So I made a phone call to Nick Bailey.
Smart.
Uh-huh.
He would probably know the answer.
Yep. Yeah. So I called him. I'm like, hey, Nick, how's it going, buddy?
Yeah.
I'm about to drive into Tahoma here.
Yeah.
Do you know about trail conditions?
Yeah. Should I have brought my Ruby tracks?
Yeah. Should I brought the snow tracks with me? And he goes, oh yeah, there's definitely going to be snow on the trail. He goes, this time of year, there's always snow there. There's some pretty big, gnarly snow drifts. He said, however, you are lucky. The first couple of rigs made it into spring about 2.5 weeks ago. So there's already been multiple rigs into the springs. There's tracks going from Tahoma down Cadillac, all this stuff. He goes, the main spot you're going to run into the snow is around Miller Creek. Okay. And the lakes and ponds area right there, right? Mm-hmm. He said after that, that's the highest point of elevation. After that, you start dropping down into the trees. You'll still have snow there because it's just no sunlight gets down to the ground, but you're dropping elevation from there. Cadillac and observation should be completely clear for you.
Sure.
But you're going to have some gnarly snow drifts and maybe snow bridges
up to that point.
Up to that point.
Well, Cadillac and observation are west facing, right? So they get the sunset. They get blasted with heat and sun when the sun is setting. So they probably are one of the first things that's clear on the trail to some extent. Yeah.
So going in, I aired down and got off. We took the trailer.
Okay.
So we trailered up there because I had the dog that we needed to drop off in Placerville. And I was like, all the camping gear for us plus the dog was just too much for the 4Runner.
And a kid.
And the kid, So we took the truck and trailer, dropped the dog off in Placerville. So we had everything, unloaded the trailer, got a great parking spot in Tahoma, which was awesome. Aired down, got the car seat transferred over, and then started heading down the trail. And pretty quickly started getting into snow.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was just like, well, here we go. I love snow wheeling.
Yeah.
Let's get some snow wheeling in. Got going, kept going, ran into a couple guys that were stopped and they weren't in their rigs and their vehicles were in the middle of the trail and I didn't see any people around. But also there was like not really a good spot for them to get off the trail. It's kind of a tight area there.
All right.
So I'm like, let me go hiking, see if I can find these guys, see what they're doing, if they're okay. So I hop out and I'm still in my Crocs.
Oh yeah.
So I'm hiking through the snow in my Crocs and I'm like, this sucks.
That was not a good
terrible idea. And so finally, but I found them. They were up ahead and they're like, yeah, we're not going to try and go through this anymore. We're turning around here. We've reached our limit. We don't think we have what it takes to keep going. They kind of saw my rig. They're like, you do. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to keep going. I got no worries about this.
Yeah.
And so while they were turning around, I opened up my rear window to grab my shoes and socks out from my bag and in the back of the 4Runner and get around. And by the time I got my shoes and socks, they are turned around. So I didn't have time to put my shoes and socks on.
Okay.
So they get turned around. So I get around them and keep moving on forward down the trail. And then I realized after about 5 minutes, I never closed the window of the 4Runner.
Your Crocs fell out.
No, I had stalled my Crocs on because I didn't have time to put the shoes and socks on, right? But my backpack was the closest thing to the window. And my backpack had my gun in it and my Starlink and my laptop in it. There's a good, and then the laptop has all the data and files from Morphlight on it, right? So I'm like, this is invaluable. So I like freaked out. I had a mini panic attack thinking my backpack just fell out of the 4Runner and we're gonna have to go back and find it. So I stop real quick, pull over and I jump out.
Those Jeepers drove over it.
Yeah. God, that would suck. So I get out, my backpack was hanging halfway out the back of the 4Runner.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh my God, why, what? So I put the backpack back in and immediately get back in the car, roll up the window and continue on down the road.
Okay.
So we're going on down and we get to a spot where I couldn't get out of the water hole. There's just a deep water hole. There's a lot of water holes. It's kind of like coming in Wentworth Springs during springtime, right? A lot of deep water holes that are kind of like slush ice on it on the top. And on the end of the water holes is always a nice little snow berm that you have to get up and out and over to get out of the water hole. And this one had a really tall, very vertical snow berm.
Okay.
I was in the water close to the top of my tires.
Wow.
So almost 40 inches of water. And then the snow berm came up above my bumper.
Yeah.
My front bumper. And it was like vertical almost.
Okay. That's a big wall.
So I had to get up on top of it. And then once I got on top of it, people that were coming in had dug out a hole on the other side.
Okay. Yeah.
So it ends up
traction, trying to get it,
shitty, snotty snow, right?
They're just digging it out.
digging it out. And so it became this vertical wall, 4.5 feet tall, 5 feet tall, and then maybe 2 feet thick, 3 feet thick, and then another 3 feet down on the other side.
Sure.
And I was like, I don't have the breakover angle. I'm a tall vehicle and I don't have the breakover angle to get over this. But I was like, it's just snow. I'll just hit it harder.
Yeah. That's
so
never works.
I tried to hit it harder 2 more times, just to almost launch the rear end up over the back of it or something. And each time the axle would just dig into this wall. Right. All right. So let's pull out the winch. And I'm like, all right, if I'm going to having to get out of the vehicle and winching, I got to put my shoes and socks on now.
Yeah.
So I put my shoes and socks on. And I go around and set up the winch on the front, and the tree strap and try and winch. And it's just not going anywhere. The rear axle is dug into this snow. It was like the top layer is just snot.
Yeah.
And then everything under it is just pure ice.
Hard packed. Yeah.
Hard packed snow. And it's just not going anywhere. I'm like, not quite sure what to do here.
Yeah.
So I kind of back up and I can't like get back to a level spot and get out of the car.
No. Right.
Because I'm in 40 inches of water.
Yeah.
And so the only way to get out was to have my front tires up on the wall. But being there, I've got snow berms on either side of the car, so I can't open the doors.
Oh.
So I have to climb in and out of the window.
Sure.
6'4", climbing in and out of a 94 4Runner window each time I need to get in and out of the vehicle. But I'm like, all right, well, let's figure this out.
You make your sunroof pop off.
I don't have a sunroof.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
Oh.
Because I have antennas.
Yeah.
So anyways, I get out and I'm kind of like looking, I'm evaluating the scenario and I'm like, I got trees all around. There's tons of trees, right? It's just a matter of how do I use the trees and the winch together to get myself up this spot, but get myself back pointed down because it's so narrow. I could winch up the embankment, but then how do I get the vehicle back straight?
Yeah.
To come down off the other side of this berm and back on the trail. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up I hooked up the winch, put it in free spool, backed up into the water until I can get far enough back that I could start coming up the embankment.
Okay.
Because I had to get away from the snow berms built up on either side of the vehicle. And so I had to do that. And then once I got my front passenger up on the embankment, I had to climb out. I opened up the door, climbed on the slider, jumped around on the slider and then the tire and then the bumper to engage the winch and then reversed all that to get back in the car.
Yeah.
And then winched myself upward sideways on the embankment until I got my rear tires
to the wall,
to
almost.
About on top of the wall. Like I just got it past the point where my axle was going to get caught.
Yeah.
And then held the vehicle there, and see if I can release the winch and keep the vehicle from sliding backwards. And it did.
Okay.
It held.
Yeah.
So, I was able to then climb out of the vehicle with it at this weird angle, climbed out, moved the winch to a second tree 2 feet over to then pull the front end over to slide me back down into the hole on the other side of the berm.
Yeah.
And then once I got that, I was able to drive out of it.
Got it.
But essentially I had to do a 3-point winch to figure out how to get through there. And that took me about half an hour, 35 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So during all that, once I got on the other side of the track, I opened up the rear window, took my Crocs, threw them back in the back, grabbed a snack out of the snack bag, got back in the driver's seat and drove off
Oh no.
without closing my window again.
Did you lose your backpack?
Nope. I had another mini panic attack. Went and checked, but backpack was secure. So I got back in the truck, rolled up the window and continued on.
Oh man.
While we were at this weird angle on the snow berm, we had smoke, either smoke or water vapor, something come out of the air conditioning.
Oh,
out of the vents.
okay.
And it didn't smell good. And I was like, that's not good. So I turned off the air conditioning while all that was going on. Once we got leveled back out and down the trail a little ways, I turned it back on. Everything seemed fine. I'm like, okay, doesn't seem like anything's happening with the AC system. It still works great. So we'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Get out to observation and Cadillac completely dry.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
That's good for the steep downhill.
Yep. And made it on down and got to the into the springs. at that split in the road where you can go off to Dirty Dozen or start going up the granite towards the springs, right? The main area. And my transmission or clutch starts making this flapping noise. Flap, 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 flap. That increases with transmission speed, RPMs.
That's not good.
No, it's not good. So I'm like, what the fuck? I've had this clutch for about 3 years now. I think it was 2 to 3 years since the whole standard auto care debacle.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't think I should be going out yet.
No.
I wouldn't think it would be. And I'm like, but now I'm like, fuck, I'm by myself.
Yeah.
So, and I might be having clutch issues. My clutch might be coming close to going out. So, I'm like, you know what? Let's not even go all the way into the springs. We were trying to get to Pine Camp, which is down on the slabs that kind of point out at the end of the slabs, all the pine trees, and it's kind of dirt. Awesome spot there. That was the goal to get to. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even I just want to pull into as easy of a spot, park it for the weekend, and we're done.
Yeah.
I don't want to put any more stress on this clutch than we have to. If I was with other people, be a different story.
Yeah.
But I'm by myself. I still have to get up Cadillac and out through those snow drifts on the way out.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to park it. We're done.
Yes. Okay.
And I started thinking, where's a good spot to park here? And I'm like, Mog Camp.
It's right in front of you, pretty much.
Right in front of me.
Yeah.
I just have to go back down the slab, back to the turnoff to Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
And go into Mog Camp. And Mog Camp is really cool because not many people know about it.
No.
It's like this little hidden gem in the springs.
I know where it is. I just have never been to it.
That's a really cool camp spot.
Okay.
It's essentially this giant sandbar.
Okay.
That has a couple outhouses at it and is tucked back past the turn to Dirty Dozen.
Yes.
So where the water crossing to Dirty Dozen is, you just keep going. And that's Mog Camp.
Okay.
And so we pulled in there, nobody there.
Good.
We're like, awesome. I brought the big Gazelle T8 tent.
Oh yeah.
And so let's just set it up right here on top of the sandbar.
Yeah.
And we had the whole Mog Camp to ourselves all weekend. It was awesome. So anyways, the weekend went great. It was really, really nice to be sitting in the springs with high water flows, listening to that river kind of roar past.
Yeah.
All the waterfalls were active coming over that rocky area there.
Super warm water too.
Oh yeah, 34, my guess, 34 degrees.
Super cold. Snow, immediate snow runoff.
Immediate snow runoff, yeah. But it was fun. And so we're sitting there, I'm setting up camp, and all of a sudden I hear this, Tyler.
What?
I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's not a surprise. People know me. I know a lot of people on the trail. So I ran into some people in South Lake Tahoe that recognized me.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, yeah, okay, who's looking? I look over. And my production manager, Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
And Bandit are running down at me.
No way.
From the trail.
That's
and I'm
funny.
like, I know you guys are on the trail, but I didn't think you guys were going to make it all the way to the springs.
Yeah.
Because this was the first time he had brought his 4Runner that he built into the Rubicon himself.
Okay.
He went in with Jason Hussman.
Yep.
Hustle Nuts. And I was like, well, what's your guys' schedule? Where are you guys camping? And they were like, we don't know. We're just however far we get, and we'll get to camp wherever we end up going to.
That's what he told you earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so I was like, okay, well, if I don't see you this weekend, I won't see you guys. And since I wasn't going to Gatekeeper, I figured I wasn't going to see them at all.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, hey, cool. You guys made it. You guys made actually pretty good time.
Yeah.
It was probably 4:00 at that time.
Well, and let's just put in a little bit of clarity there that I saw MF Ryan driving up the freeway on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I was like, where's the Blue Cougar going? And he's like, we're going to the Rubicon. And, that's how I read it through his text.
Yeah.
And so
that's probably how he said it
probably,
too. So,
it was Rubicon baby is literally what he wrote me. Rubicon baby, that's how he said it.
Okay.
But so they were already up there on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And
camping
at Loon or somewhere.
Yeah.
So they had all day to get there where you drove up that Friday.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. They were on trail at 6:30, 7 a.m. Friday morning.
They're both early people, early risers. Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't get on trail with the 4Runner until 2:30, 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So, something like that. So anyways, ran into him down in the springs. I'm like, Well, that's awesome.
Did he
you guys
know
are here? Did
that you weren't going to Loon?
I sent him a text message early Friday morning, I think, and just said, hey, just FYI, I'm not going to Loon and Gatekeeper. I'm going to drop into Homa, and I'll be camping at the spring, so probably won't see you guys. Just giving you a heads up. Don't look for me.
Cool.
Kind of thing. Yeah. And Ryan has his Starlink. So he got the text message.
Yeah.
And he knew that I was in the Springs or I was coming to the Springs.
Yeah.
So he went around looking for me and found me in Mog Camp.
Nice.
So I'm chatting. I'm like, that's awesome. Where are you guys camped at? And he goes, Pine Camp.
Oh, really?
I was like, you guys got Pine Camp, you bastards.
Nice.
That's fine. I'm really happy with Mog Camp here.
Yeah.
But turns out I'm really, really happy with the decision to go to the Springs because that weekend was race cars on the Rubicon.
Oh, man.
Which means that camp spot at Gatekeeper was going to be very loud and noisy the entire weekend.
Yes.
So I'm very happy we went into the Springs. We had a very nice, very subdued, pretty quiet weekend.
So how far did the race cars go in?
Some of them ended up in the Springs, came out to the slabs on Saturday and hung out and had lunch at the river and then went back.
Okay.
I think most of them just went into Buck, though.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah, right?
Lucky choice. Yeah.
I was very happy with that choice. So, let's see. The Springs was great. It was a fantastic weekend. The weather was absolutely beautiful, low 70s.
Yeah. It was gorgeous weather.
It was warm enough where in the direct sunlight, it was slightly too hot for me because I'm a pansy in the sun. Mm-hmm. But in the shade with the breeze blowing,
it's too cold.
It was too cold.
Yep,
so you would have to sit there and keep going back and forth like you were saying on your mat at the lake.
Yeah, you sit down and you put your legs in the sun and your body in the shade. And it equals about out.
Yep. So we did that. Had a great weekend. Got to play with the chainsaw. Made some firewood. Got to have a campfire.
Nice.
So it was a really, really nice weekend. I really enjoyed it. Having the kid there was much better than what was it, my birthday weekend? The first time.
Yeah.
We kind of knew what to expect this time. And it's just hilarious to watch him taking in the surroundings now because he's pointing and vocalizing things.
Okay.
So he would see birds and squirrels and point at them and, vocalize that they're there.
Yeah.
He loves climbing rocks. So that became a chore to any time he was around, which is all the time.
Yeah.
We had to keep an eye on him because he would start running off to climb rocks.
Yeah, sure.
So having to watch that, we'd have to go over and let him climb rocks and supervise climbing rocks. Then licking and tasting every rock he can get his hands on.
Okay. That one takes after you.
That one, exactly. Definitely. I still do that today. Like, Yep. That one's blue granite. That's a saltstone. That's that one's an igneous rock.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's not a rock.
That one's not a rock. That's dried poop. It was fun. We found a salamander.
Oh, cool.
And Ryan was hanging out with us when we saw it. So he picked it up. My hands were full and showed it to Reed. So Reed was just kind of like staring at it like, what the fuck is that? Can I put it in my mouth? Can I eat it?
Yes. But you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't eat that one. So it was really cool. A really awesome weekend. I loved being in the Springs.
Yeah.
Having Mog Camp to ourselves. Great having the kid around. He definitely got cold at night. And he's not quite at the stage yet where we're willing to give him his own sleeping bag or blanket due to suffocation concerns at night.
Sure.
So we let him sleep in. We brought the pack and play because the T8 Gazelle is massive.
Yeah.
So we could put it in there with us. And then around midnight each night, he just got too cold and we brought him into the bed with us. So he would go into my sleeping bag. The first night, second night, I opened up my sleeping bag like a big blanket and had him under there. So I got little baby cuddles each night, which was awesome. And it was just overall a fantastic weekend.
Good. Glad to hear.
So coming out on Sunday, got everything packed up. Ryan was having a really rough health morning.
Oh.
He wasn't hungover or anything. He just has some health issues about.
I do.
And so he was having a really rough morning. So he was like, can I just come out Cadillac with you? A, I can say I did Cadillac. I went all the way through the trail. And B, I think it'll be a lot easier than going back to the trail in my current condition. I was like, absolutely. Yeah. I would prefer someone come with me up Cadillac because I don't know what my clutch is doing.
Yeah.
So we left 9:30ish, 9:30. Started heading up Cadillac, and my clutch didn't make a damn sound the entire time.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't know what it was. I don't know if maybe somehow going through all the water crossings, I got a twig or something in the clutch and flywheel area. And that was making noise. I don't know, but Sunday, not a single peep from my clutch all day long, and it worked beautifully.
Wow.
So I don't know, but I'm going to buy Toyotas. They fix themselves. After talking with, because I had my Starlink, so I was messaging Dave Pfeiffer throughout the weekend about my clutch situation. And OCD Fab Jason, Ryan was talking to him about my clutch situation. Yeah. And both of them said, even with a quality clutch, if you're doing a lot of wheeling, you're going to go through a clutch about every 3 to 4 years.
Wow.
So I'm like, well, I'm kind of at that point. I'm roughly 2.5, 3 years into this clutch.
Yeah. Did we change the clutch when we did I change the clutch on Bobcat?
When we did the swappy swap.
I did?
Yep. Yeah, you did a clutch and flywheel when you did it.
Okay. I just remember it was like, well, it's out. I might as well do this.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then, so I guess I put one in then.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't think I did. I couldn't remember because it's been a long time for Bobcat.
Mm-hmm. So. That's what I was thinking about. I was like, Jimmy's never done he's done his clutch once that I know of.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Jimmy doesn't go through clutches like this. Like, this is my third clutch.
I don't
since having the rig.
I don't use the clutch pedal.
That's me. I don't really use the clutch pedal either, except for street driving.
Yeah.
So am I just burning the clutch out on street driving? That doesn't seem right.
I don't know. Those big 40-inch tires are yours.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So anyways, that was,
you got all that. You got all that power on that, that
so much raw power
3.4 liter compared to my 22 RE.
True. So anyways, no issues with the clutch on the way out.
Well, that's good.
Air conditioning did not work at all.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Okay.
Nothing. No cold air at all. Sunday morning came out of the air conditioning system. So I'm like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but I have a whole new system in this thing. There's no reason it should not be working.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to think back now that when I saw the green dye oil, refrigerant and stuff on the frame on Wednesday night,
yep,
that was probably the evaporator box leaking. They didn't fix the evaporator or whatever they said they were going to. And then the white puff of smoke that came out of the vents when I was winching
was its final draw of breath.
Maybe. I mean, it was working up until we got to camp on Friday afternoon, evening. So anyways, I called the place already and they were like, well, you have a 1-year warranty on the job. So sounds like we need to check it out.
Yeah. Yes,
I'm like,
you do.
Yeah, you do. I spent a lot of money on a whole new aftermarket system. So it needs to be working. So I'm going to take it into them tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, and let them see what they can do, see what they find.
And how did Ryan do going up Cadillac?
He did awesome.
Nice.
That 4Runner is working very, very well.
Good.
And it's really cool to see him experience all the work he's put into it finally.
Yes.
Because he completely revamped that motor, rebuilt the motor pretty much twice.
Oh, yeah.
Because he got screwed over by, a Standard American Outdoors?
Yeah, something like that.
And then he completely built his axles, built his own gussets for everything, solid axle swapped it, I believe, did everything himself. And he's been like, really like, I don't want to take it out. What if I fucked stuff up and it's not working right? And I was like, there's only one way to know.
Yeah.
You just got to take it out, man. Yeah, it sounds to me like you've done everything right. And like over the past 6-7 months, he's been wanting to take it out, but he's like, I'm afraid to take it out. And I'm like, you just got to take it out, dude.
He built it so well that he was scared to take it out and do anything because it might be an issue. And it's just like, just take it out. Like, then you'll find out if there's an issue and then you can fix the issue.
Yep. That's usually 90% of rock crawling.
Yeah.
Right. And building and maintaining vehicles. So anyways, it was cool to see him get through the trail without really any issues.
Okay, good.
He almost flopped it once.
Oh.
Bent his driver's slider up into the body.
Ooh, where was that?
That was, where did he do that at?
Not with you.
Not with me.
Okay.
That was all before. And then he, just before Glenn's office, there's a tree root section.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he went down into the tree roots and broke his front passenger corner light.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Caved that
right in the drop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So right in the drop. And then he almost flopped it coming around Buck Island through that tight S turn at the far end of Buck.
Yes. Yeah.
He was coming through there and really boofed the inside rock, the one that you just go over.
Yes.
He boofed it so hard that he went on the FU rock on his driver's side.
Oh.
And it tipped him over pretty much into his passenger side doors on the boofing rock. And then he was like, where do I go? And everybody that was with him said that both of his driver's side tires were off the ground.
Wow.
So that's all the issues he had, though. Mechanically, the rig worked great.
Yeah. Just driver error.
Just skill issues. Yep. So he made it up Cadillac. No problems. No issues whatsoever.
Good.
So made it up to observation. I stopped because Rod Littleton
he was
up at observation.
He was out on the trail too. I saw photos.
So I got to see him and say hi to him. And then Ryan was just like, dude, I'm not feeling it. I'm just going to continue on. So I get it. Go for it.
Yeah.
So he continued on. I stayed and said hi to Rod and his crew real quick, about 5 minutes. And then I followed out Ryan.
Railtown?
That's his club, Railtown Off-Road. So went on out. This big snow drift that I got stuck on, had to winch 3 times, was not there.
What?
When I on my way out, was not there.
Ryan just plowed through it, huh?
Somebody did. I think someone brought shovels with them, was smart, brought big shovels and just shoveled the whole thing out of there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was literally driving through and I was like, wait a minute. Those are my tire tracks going up on the embankment. Those are the 2 trees I winched off of. There's a tree over there that I other winched off of. And I was like, there's no snow berm here whatsoever.
There's just snow spread out everywhere, melting.
Yeah.
Dang.
So somebody knocked it down. No issues at all on the way out. Just no air conditioning was the only thing.
Yeah,
so
bummer.
Yeah. Although I got to Tahoma.
Yes.
And went to air up, so I don't put the rig on the trailer at 8 PSI.
Yeah.
No air hoses or air hub in the vehicle.
What?
Yep. And I'm like,
who do you
now hold on a minute.
For?
Yeah, exactly.
Who
right.
are you employed by?
Who's my employer?
Who's your boss?
I was like, wait a minute. Because when we were on our way up, we had a trailer tire that was 12 PSI lower than my other trailer tires.
Oh.
So we stopped at Fresh Pond to air it up and use their air machine. And apparently that air machine does not do high pressure.
Oh, yeah.
It would not air up the tire past 80 PSI.
Okay.
So I pulled out my Morphlite compressor and my air hoses and my air hub and aired up the trailer tire back to 95 with the other tires. So I had my hoses and my air hub on this trip and I put it right inside the rear window and the rear quarter panel window. And kind of like as a play, because I had the Morphlite kind of facing outwards. That's a really tinted window, but with the neon green Morphlite facing outward, you can kind of see Morphlite through the window.
Okay.
So I kind of did that on purpose as I was packing everything back away at Fresh Pond. And I started thinking about it and I was like,
did you lose it?
I don't remember seeing my hoses and air hub at camp all weekend long when I unloaded the 4Runner.
You lost it with the window down.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
Yep. And so I'm like, well, I guess we'll just put the rig on the trailer at 8 PSI and know that it's going to be bouncy, strap it down really good, and just don't drive like an idiot.
Yeah.
And we'll just get home. And luckily, I work for an awesome air inflation company that I can just get new stuff. So as I was going down, we stopped back at Sonny's Barbecue on the way home, got some lunch.
You lost it on the way in?
Lost it on the way in.
Okay.
Yep.
It wasn't a window down by mistake on the way out.
Nope.
Okay.
It was window down on the way in for sure.
Got it.
I was so panic stricken over my backpack.
You didn't look for anything
I didn't
else.
look for anything else missing.
Sure.
Yeah. So anyways, we get back home. I stopped at Stunny's, had lunch. It was great. Love that place. Headed back home, got home, and I told the managers.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Ozzy, you remember that time at Trail Hero where I blew a tire and we had to patch it with glue tread, but then we didn't have a compressor to air it back up, and we had to use a Viair compressor. The Morphlite guys had to use a Viair compressor to inflate the tire back up.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. And I was like,
I just did that.
I just had another situation where the Morphlate guy didn't have an air compressor to air up. He goes, what happened? I was like, I'm pretty sure I left my window down on the way in to the trail and my hoses and air hub fell out the back.
Wow.
And then immediately, as soon as I said that, Sean, our customer service guy, said, oh, somebody just today posted on the Rubicon Trail Facebook page that he found an air inflation system on the trail.
Yeah.
I was like, no shit.
I saw that post too.
Did you?
Yeah.
So anyways, the guy's post was essentially found an inflation system, describe it, and I'll get it back to you.
Yeah.
And so I was like, was it a Morphlate quad hoses, air hub, and bag with a stubby manifold in the front pocket? And then the Homer Simpson meme of like falling backwards into the bush. And his reply was, LOL, DM me, I'll get it back to you. So I messaged the dude and I was like, hey man, thanks so much for finding that. And huge thank you and shout out to you for doing the right thing, trying to find the owner rather than just keeping it. He goes, honestly, I'm not going to lie. I have a twin ARB in my vehicle with the single tire hoses. So when I was airing up in Tahoma, I used your system. I used your hoses and your air hub, and that is bitchin'. He goes, that's a really nice system. And I was debating keeping it, but I was like, no, somebody's probably missing it. So I thought I'd reach out. I was like, you know what? You like it so much, go ahead and keep it.
You're like, yeah.
I was like, I'm the owner of the company. Thank you because of you did the right thing.
Yeah.
Keep it.
Awesome.
Give me your shipping address. I'm going to send you some extra stuff just for being a good person.
Yeah.
And trying to get that back to its owner. Right. And he goes, that's so cool. Thanks so much, man. So chatted with him for a little bit longer about the trail and off-roading, etc. So really cool guy. Shout out to him for finding that and doing the right thing and being a really cool dude anyways. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I did lose the hoses.
That's funny.
He found them exactly where I thought I lost them at. And other than that, that was kind of the weekend, man.
How far did they get in?
He made it down to the Springs.
Oh, okay.
So he was down there at some point over the weekend while I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I did realize though that there's certain things, when you're wheeling all the time, your gear is kind of just packed and ready to go, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Mine, there was definitely things missing from my gear.
Oh, really?
That I was like, I thought this was packed in this bag. I guess over the past year, I've taken it out at some point. It wasn't there anymore. Or I didn't check levels on other things. We ran out of stuff while we were there.
Oh, okay. Like not enough plates or something.
Like I totally forgot to bring bowls and plates.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
We pretty much ate steak and potatoes out of the pan, of the stove pan, which was not bad, but it was just, we're just standing around the stove picking at cut up steak and potatoes rather than getting to sit around a campfire. Eating. So, forgot plates and bowls, had silverware. I had the coffee mugs, but I thought I forgot coffee. I was like, fuck. I woke up Saturday morning. Like, oh, I didn't pack coffee. No, that's so upsetting. I'm literally going to go walking around camp to camp and begging for coffee.
Yeah.
Luckily, in my dry foods bag, I had a couple of the pouches left over from that year at P&W Expo, the tea bag coffees.
Yep.
So I had a couple of those in the bottom of the bag. I was like, whew, okay, we got coffee.
Yeah.
Crisis averted.
That's good.
So we had coffee, but
I had that a little freak out on the exact same thing this weekend too. And it was in regards to coffee. Because the assistant packs everything, and then usually I tell her a few of the items that I want. And I didn't say much of anything this trip. And I'm driving up there. I'm like, look over at her, like a deadpan serious look. I'm like, did you bring coffee?
Yeah.
And she like looks at me and goes, only tea. I'm like, no. And she's like, just kidding. I'm like, you. I was like, we were in civilization, right? So we could have gone to a coffee shop or any of that. But I was just like, we're stopping on the way. If you don't have coffee, I've got to stop. We're not going to beat Tony. It's not going to happen.
That'd be funny. You call Tony and be like, dude, I'm running real far behind. Can you stop and get coffee?
Yeah, right.
Show up at the cabin before him. Anyway, so coffee was one of them. Bug spray. Right now, this time of year on the Rubicon, mosquitoes get thick.
Oh yeah,
and they get ravenous.
They're aggressive.
They're aggressive in the evening time and the morning time. So, I forgot to check the levels of bug spray. I know that I keep bug spray, like bug spray and sunscreen are two things that I'm like, I never want to remember to have to pack, but I know that I need them.
Yes.
So I keep them in various spots of multiple vehicles.
Okay.
Just like toilet paper.
Yep.
And so we had forgotten to pack toilet paper. We only had half a roll of toilet paper.
Oh no.
So we stopped at Fresh Pond. We got a 4-pack of toilet paper.
Okay.
And then the bug spray, we had 3 cans that I was able to find in all the stuff. All of them were pretty much dead.
Wow.
I had 2 bottles of sunscreen that I could find in all my stuff. They were both dead.
Okay.
All 3 of my headlamps that I keep in the 4Runner, they were all dead on battery.
But they're USB-C rechargeable, right?
They are USB-C rechargeable.
Okay.
So I was able to just plug them in and recharge them. So we had them for Saturday night, but not Friday night. But I brought the Devos light.
Yes.
And that was charged.
Oh, good.
So we had that for light, camp light. I also bought these new nifty little camp string lights.
Yeah.
That are retractable into this like plastic housing.
Oh, cool.
That has a magnetic base to it. And it's rechargeable and everything, but they're like $20-$25 on Amazon. So I bought like 3 of them to put in different vehicles, right?
How long are they?
35 feet.
Okay.
Pretty decent. And they have different settings for the color of the lights. You can get RGB or white and a strobe or, fade in and out or just solid on. So I was like, for $25, I'd love to try this out and see what it is. So we had that up Friday night as well. So light wasn't too bad of an issue.
We have one of those. It's not retractable though. And it doesn't have a magnet, but we bought a 35 footer, I think. Mm-hmm. And we draped it around the mini assistant's tent one time. And she just is like, fell in love with it. And another trip we went on, it wasn't long enough to reach to a few trees. Mm-hmm. And they're so cheap. Right. And so we bought, I think they had a 90 footer.
Nice.
And so we bought the same one. And they're like fairy lights. They're just tiny little LEDs.
Yep.
And then the one we have has like 50 settings of different types of patterns and colors and blinks and fades and dims or whatever, all of it. And so we haven't used the 90 footer one yet, but we're going to be able to wrap her tent like 5 times. So she's going to be happy about that.
Product idea for Devos. Come out with a string light that can plug into their Light Ranger 2000 and have like an accessory port that can be controlled from the app as well.
Yes. But doesn't the Devos have a USB port on it?
For recharging cell phones, yeah. I think there's a USB battery port on it. So,
and mine runs off of a USB.
Yeah, mine is USB rechargeable, so you can plug it into that. But what I'm saying is, yeah, you can plug them in and then control them from the device itself. What if you could control the outgoing charge to that port through the app as well?
Yeah.
So you have control of the Devos light and then a string light coming out of the Devos light.
That'd be awesome. I think the fairy lights that I have its own app also.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Yeah. And so, but it would be the same in essence. I have to run 2 apps for this feature where I could run one app and control both.
But you can still control both of them from like sitting down in your chair around a campfire.
Yes.
So, anyway, so we had plenty of light Friday night, but my headlamps were dead. Let's see the lighter. I have a spare lighter, a flame, not the flameless one. I didn't check that one. That one might be dead too. The flame lighter though was dead. It was out of, I had just enough to get a fire going Saturday night.
Oh, wow.
We didn't have a fire Friday night. Saturday night, we had a fire just enough to start the fire. Like I ran out in the middle of starting the fire.
Yeah.
The campfire. So that needs to get replaced. What else were we missing?
Did you write all this down?
In my phone. Yeah. Paper towels. I didn't have any paper towels for the weekend. We'd had baby wipes because we have a baby, but we didn't have any like adult hand wipes or anything that I normally have. Those crocodile wipes, which are awesome for camping. Didn't have those. And there was a few other like minor things from there that were like, we could live without those. But like all that other stuff was like,
it would be really nice if we had those.
It would be really nice if we had these.
Sure.
So it just kind of made me realize I've pretty much had like a year off of normal wheeling and camping. I should probably go through everything and kind of reset everything back up. I can't just grab my go bags, throw them in and go anymore.
Right.
And I think it's going to be a while before I can get back to that point. But it just kind of was a a very humbling reminder that it kind of felt like being a noob again.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not remembering to bring stuff and not having a complete camp set up anymore. So
I'm just going back through our episodes because I'm pretty sure we just talked about setting yourself up and getting ready for summer wheeling trips.
Jimmy, no, we did not.
Didn't we just do one of those episodes?
I don't think we did. I don't think we did, Jimmy.
Are you sure? Like going through your bins and getting things organized?
Yeah. As I say, not as I do,
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
But you're making me, we're going to use the teardrop trailer in roughly in about a week.
Okay.
And we've never used it. And so I think we're going to be in the same semi-similar situation as you, where we're going to bring all of our camping gear and everything that we kind of normally bring. And we're going to throw all that in the truck probably. And then I think it's going to be a situation of, okay, what do we need for the trailer that is in the bins? And I'm going to play this game of keeping track of what we're moving back and forth. Because my goal is to eventually have the trailer be self-sufficient and then have my off-road camping gear self-sufficient. So if I need a can opener, I need to buy one for one of these kits.
So that's what happened to me with the Lance.
Yeah.
All my plates and bowls went to the Lance.
Okay.
All my stainless steel cups for cold drinks went to the Lance.
Sure.
My seasoning, my coffee, the sugar for the coffee, the powdered creamer, all that went into the Lance.
Yeah. Okay.
And I didn't remember to refill the camping gear, the tent camping setup.
Right.
With stuff. So now I'm like, gotta remember to do this now.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
Well, it sounds like a fun trip. Sounds like there was a little bit of a headache, but it sounds, and some trials in regards to the Kermit, but it sounds like you guys had a blast. And did the secretary have a good time out there?
She did have a good time. Surprisingly, she got some sleep.
Yeah.
Because that's the big thing. She doesn't sleep well. She's got borderline insomnia. So, and especially camping, she doesn't sleep at all when camping, which makes her just a zombie during the days while we're camping. And it makes it really hard for her to function while camping. And especially with a 15-month-old camping, you have to have the energy to keep following him around all day and keep him from falling off cliffs.
Sure.
So,
she got herself tired.
She got some sleep and she had a great day Saturday. It was really kind of cool to watch her enjoying and having energy while camping.
Nice.
So yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got some sleep too. Cause lately we've been waking up and really early in the morning by our cat. Cats hissing at each other, or one cat just sort of yowling. And we left them alone in the house, not locked up separately, both foods out, and they survived and we got some sleep.
Good.
We came home. Oh, let me tell you this.
Okay, I'm ready.
This is a fun random story. I don't think I talked about on the podcast. So the night, I don't think I did, because I think it was the night before we left, in the middle of the night. So we drove up there on Friday. On Thursday night, 3 a.m, we hear our new cat just having the zoomies, right?
Okay.
Just running around crazy. And we're like, okay, whatever. It's just being crazy, and it's just pouncing and, playing with the carpet and stuff. And then we hear this squeak, squeak.
Oh no! You got.
We're like, was that the cat? We're half asleep. Wait, what noise was that?
Did you get the cat a squeaker toy, Layla?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, because I heard it early, probably minutes earlier, but I heard it earlier in the night, and I was like, oh, the cat's playing with the toy downstairs. Yeah. And then the cat has the Zoomy upstairs, and that noise happens again. And I'm kind of like, oh, the cat brought the toy upstairs.
Yeah.
And then the assistant hits me and goes, did the cat make that noise? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, investigate or something like that. And I'm like, that's a big word for this time. And I get up and I go, nope, there's a mouse in our room.
It's in your room?
Yeah.
Nice.
First of all, I'm like, how the hell did the mouse get in the house? And then the cat caught it.
And then brought it up to your room.
Brought it up to our room to play with it. And so I catch the mouse, I throw a shirt over it and grab it. And I didn't want to deal with it very much. So I just threw it outside on the back porch and let it run away.
Okay.
And then went to bed. And so then the assistant's like, hey, we need to set those traps again in the garage. Probably let's do that. So the next day, after I take the mini assistant to school, I come back and I go to set the traps. And there's a huge rat caught in one of the traps. I'm like, what? Like, that's crazy. Like, not like a huge Norwegian style rat, just like it was a big rat.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, let's clean. And it hadn't been dead for long because it didn't smell.
Okay.
And so I take it out and bury it in the corner of the yard, set the traps. I sit down to eat some lunch that day and I hear a snap.
What?
I'm like, what? Seriously? What? It was like an hour or so later.
Uh-huh.
I go outside and I look at one of the traps, dead mouse.
What?
I'm like, all right. So I open the trap back up, set it back up, grab the mouse, go grab the shovel, bury that mouse.
Okay.
So we come home from our trip.
Uh-huh. Did you catch another one?
2 dead mice in our room.
2 in your room?
That same night. Was it that night again? Or early morning? So the dang cat caught another mouse again. This one had an ear missing because I made the joke, what if this is the same mouse?
Yeah.
And then, so I'm like, okay, this one's missing an ear now. Uh-huh. So if we get another mouse, because I let this one go, that's missing an ear, we know it's the same stupid mouse trying to get in the house. Uh-huh. So we come home. So that was 1 mouse at the end of the night, 1 mouse one dead mouse rat in the trap, 1 dead rat in the trap, and then 1 mouse as like we were leaving.
Okay.
We come home to 2 dead mice in our bedroom. Thankfully, not
disemboweled
or anything. It looks like the cat just likes to play with them until they die. But we found one in our bathroom on the tiles and threw it away. And then I started like looking around in the house, like in the bedroom, like looking in the closet, looking under things, looking all around. And this was like last minute, like before bed. The assistant's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just don't want another, like, I don't want a dead rat or mouse, like I guess a mouse around here that, is just going to get nastier and stink the place up. Like, I'm just going to take a few minutes and kind of poke around. I didn't see anything.
Okay.
The assistant woke up this morning. Right. This all happened. So that was Thursday night, Thursday night, Friday day, and then Friday night when we were leaving. We were gone Saturday, Sunday. Monday we come home. Mm-hmm. Here we are on Tuesday recording. Yeah. So we found the mouse. I looked around. Mm-hmm. The next morning, the assistant goes, man, I swear I smell another. Something. I don't know if you talked because you found that one and we talked about it and you were searching. Like, I smell something. So that when she woke up, she just started flashing her lights around and there was another dead mouse.
In your bedrooms again?
In the bedroom again. So while we were gone, the cat caught 2 in our house somewhere and took them up to the bedroom and either played with them when they killed them or something.
So you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mice?
6, I think. I had, going back. So we had
the squeaky one in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night. I found a dead rat.
The big rat.
Found a trapped, an hour later trapped mouse. Before we leave, one mm-hmm. Then 2 when we got home.
Oh, okay. I thought you had 1 more when you got home.
No.
Okay, so 6. Wow.
6. And we're like...
in a week, less than a week.
How the hell are these all getting into that? Well, 2 of them were in the garage. Yeah. Like, the garage is one thing. Like, we leave the door open and the vent systems aren't perfect. But how are they getting into the house? Now that's like, I'm going on like war. Uh-huh. And I don't even know if I need to anymore. I mean, how many more are left there? But I don't know. There's probably a few.
It sounds like you have a good guard sentry though.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't want to have to wake up to a disemboweled mouse on my carpet. But yeah, so I'm going to war with how the hell are mice getting into my house right now.
Oh, wow.
So that was our fun when we got home.
That's a fun story.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've been to our house.
Yeah.
And you know the way we live. We're not like hoarders.
No, you're not. You're not messy.
We're not messy.
No, not at all. You guys are very clean.
We have a teenager and a preteen girl that doesn't like to clean some shit up, but it's not like we're not dirty people.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just crazy. I'm like, okay, well, where the hell are these guys coming from?
Yeah.
So that's going to be one of my to-do lists here this week is to like start patching a bunch of stuff up on the house. So that's fun.
Wow. That's good, man.
So
yeah,
we haven't been getting a lot of sleep.
No.
And then we went on vacation and finally slept through the night, which was nice.
Nice.
But we didn't sleep through the night last night.
Yep.
Oh, well.
I didn't either, but that's because I had a restless kid all night. So I ended up sleeping on the floor of my kid's bedroom.
Yep.
Yeah. So good stuff, man. Good updates.
Yeah.
It's a fun long
holiday weekend for you guys. Both did some fun stuff, went some fun places. So definitely a good time.
Yep. So if you guys, I'm curious if you guys have any fun stories from your Memorial Day weekend, holiday weekend, give us a call. We want to hear them. We're always up for fun stories. That's 916-345-4744. That's the one.
Good job.
Okay. I was like, I know that's a number. I couldn't remember if that's the right number. 916-345-4744. Give us a call. We'd love hearing your feedback. If you guys have feedback about, stuff from this episode, definitely call it in. We love hearing from you. So if you want to get a hold of Jimmy, he's over at SnailTrail4x4 on Instagram, and I'm over at 4x4 Toyota Tyler. There's emails, there's 4x4, there's Facebook page, there's us on Facebook Messenger, lots of different ways to get a hold of us. So do it. We love interacting with you guys. Yeah, glad to hear you had a fun weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, it's a good time. So I guess we'll wait and see what comes of this coming up weekend next week, huh?
Yeah. Why?
Oh, I'm just saying.
Okay. See how many more mice come into my house?
Yes. I want to hear the update on the mice situation, and I might not have a Bronco.
Oh.
So we'll figure that out next Thursday. So
that's fun.
Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Snail Mail. And I guess without further ado, what's your final words?
I was waiting for it.
Oh, I almost forgot it.
So there's a famous structure in Truckee that everybody puts stickers on.
Oh, okay. I know what it is.
I put a Snail Trail 4x4 sticker on there years ago.
Yeah.
And it's been covered up.
Bastards.
So I put a new one on.
Okay.
And if you take a photo of it, post it on Instagram, I'll send you some stickers.
Nice. What if they just want to take that sticker?
You can.
All right. And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
Of course you do.
Of course I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's invisible and smells like carrots?
A rabbit fart.
What?
Bunny farts.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Oh, I was just...
Did you pre-read what I've been going through?
No. I was just thinking, I don't know why, my head immediately went to farts, and I was like, who would eat a carrot and fart though? And I was like, oh, rabbits would. I was trying to think of something about the Easter bunny.
Yeah.
And farting. And I was like, oh, rabbit fart, bunny farts.
Bunny farts.
Nice.
They're
smart,
silent, man. And smell like carrots. Or they're silent. They're invisible.
They don't have to be silent.
SBDs. Silent but deadly.
All right. Good job. Me.